Brother Jack. You're watching Lights Out TV.
This is Lights Out. I'm Faisal Khan, joined by Ron. Welcome to our podcast. It's been a while since we've done the last podcast, but there's been some great action, especially last weekend in the 147 welterweight action. We've got a new WBC welterweight champion. And Amir Khan also stepped back into the ring for the second time since his 2-year absence from the ring. He took on Samuel Vargas in Birmingham, and it was a typical Amir Khan fight. It was exciting, it was nerve-wracking, it was very, on the edge of your seat kind of thing. But Amir Khan in the end got the decision, he won the fight, pushes him onto better and bigger things hopefully. But first of all, let's talk about the performance in Birmingham, the Samuel Vargas fight. What did you make of Amir Khan overall?
There's a lot to take away with it. A lot of the press, Sky Sports presenters been quite negative about that performance. I just want to start off by focusing on the positives. Yeah, like you said, he's been out of the ring for 2 years. Let's be honest, that fight he fought against Le Greco, 39 seconds, wouldn't really call it a fight.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of ring rust there. Early on he started off really positive, with blistering hand speed, dominating, got the knockdown, but obviously he was knocked down himself. He showed he was tiring up, in the second half of the fight, but yet he got, the victory, the clear points margin. But the knockdown kind of was a real bad, mark against his name on the whole. But there's something there. Whether I think that he belongs with the, you mentioned the Errol Spencers and the Porters and the Garcias and the Thurmans. No.
Yeah.
And no, he's not even the next tier down. I think he's another tier down after that.
Yeah.
I think so. The third
kind
tier
of put him in the bracket with the likes of the Broners.
Yeah.
And the Kell Brooks. But I want to ask you something. Judging by that performance, and especially with the new trainer, the new promoter, the new regime.
How many trainers is it? That is a fifth trainer now since,
Do you think he's learned anything? Or do you think he's still the same old Amir Khan?
Well, Amir Khan, he's had 5 trainers since, from his amateur days, and, that knockdown vulnerability is always there. Early on in his professional career, that left hand seems to be kind of dropping down really low, and, he's kind of vulnerable to that right overhand shot, which we saw against Canelo and, against Vargas. He was caught and, he dropped to the floor. Has he learned anything? I think he's in two minds whether to either attack or defend. We love watching Amir Khan, when he lets his hands go, but it's what he's like when he's on the receiving end. Top level fighters will be able to take a shot, shrug it off and carry on. With Amir Khan, you're just thinking, oh my God, is he going to go there?
Yeah.
I think it was in the end of the second round where
luckily when he got knocked down in the second round, it was
the bell rang at the right time.
Yeah.
And there was another point in that fight where the bell rang at the right time. He got caught quite a few times, and if it was a heavier puncher, if it was a Kell Brook,
if it was a better fighter, if it was one of the world champions,
Vargas is not known to be a ferocious puncher.
But you got to look at the way I see it is that Danny Garcia and Errol Spence Jr. got rid of him quite easily, and now on another night anything could have happened in that fight. Samuel Vargas knocked Amir Khan down, and he showed he was capable of hurting Amir Khan during that fight. And like you just said, the bell saved Amir Khan a few times. But get your thoughts on it now. What needs to happen next? Obviously, everybody wants to see the Kell Brook fight, but Amir Khan is hell bent on making Kell Brook wait and getting in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. As a boxing fan, what do you think is the best move next?
Well, Kell Brook. I'm as a next fan, I want Kell Brook rather than Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is at the later stages of his career. He's 39 years of age. He's going to be 40. Amir Khan's talking about, if I was to beat Pacquiao in a fight, it'll look great on his resume. People will forget about the Braiders Prescotts, the Garcias, and in the knockdowns. But who is he fighting? Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao, if you would honestly were to ask me on that, based on that performance, Manny Pacquiao would beat him all day long.
We talk about Manny Pacquiao's age. Yes, he's 39 years old, but he can still punch.
Oh, fantastic!
And he is a boxing legend. It's not an easy fight. But I'm with you. I'm with the boxing boxing fans. It has to be Kell Brook. It really has to be Kell Brook. Don't get me wrong. Manny Pacquiao's a boxing great, but as a boxing fan, how many more excuses can you come out with? Is there a reason why Amir Khan doesn't want to fight Kell Brook?
It's just, I was really disappointed by the, his kind of press conference, not his press conference, after the fight.
Yeah.
It was a direct question. And I was watching Spencer Fearon, kind of speaking with Amir Khan,
On
and
the
he said,
Toe podcast.
yeah, and he just said, look, you're cheating the fans if you do not take this fight. No, the fight fans will not forgive him. It's now or never, Eddie Hearn said. So there seems to be a lot of pressure on it, but he just doesn't seem to want it. And I just think it's sad. They're both in their prime. They're both, 1 or 2 years age difference between the two. Why go down the Amir? I mean, I think some people are claiming that he's only in it for the money now. He's not in it for the titles.
Yeah.
What is he to gain? What is he to gain out of?
Me personally, I think it's a lot of bullshit. I think that I think it's just listen. Amir Khan's a great talent. There's no doubt about that. I can never deny his talent. He's a former 2-time world champion, former Olympic silver medalist. He's beaten some good fighters, but I think it's just an excuse not to fight Kell Brook. But listen, there's a debate we can have all day long. But we've got to move on in the division. The 2-time world champion now, Sean Porter, winning the vacant WBC welterweight title off Danny Garcia. Very good fight. Wasn't as many people made it out to be that it would be a boring fight. Both fighters might not go for it, but there's a lot of action, especially in that 12th round. It was a very good fight, and in the end, Sean Porter come out on top. What do you make of it, Ron?
No, I really enjoyed that fight. I think it was a good fight. Sean Porter's not known to be the most exciting fighter to watch, to be pleasing on the eye, but nonetheless, he got that decision. He got the win, and it was unanimous as well. So it was all on all 3 scorecards. I'm happy for him. Genuinely happy for him. I think Garcia is a fantastic fighter. He'll come back. Will he request for that rematch?
Yeah.
There's obviously, we saw Errol Spence kind of step into the ring and to unify the divisions for that belt as well.
I want to get your thoughts on Angel Garcia's comments at the end of the fight. He done an interview which went onto a YouTube channel. He said that he feels every time they get into one of these big fights, they feel as if they're getting robbed. I mean, it happened. He said it happened with Keith Thurman, and he goes, he thought his son did enough to win the fight, and all of a sudden, Danny Garcia's father, Angel Garcia, is threatening not to be in the boxing business anymore. As a fan, I absolutely love Angel Garcia. I think he's great for boxing. But do you think that Danny Garcia, when every time he stepped up to a superior test, he's kind of failed, and it kind of pushes that appeal away from him? We know he's beaten Amir Khan, and we know he's got a few good wins on his record, but every time it's come to sort of like crunch time, he's not really stepped up when needs be.
I mean, that's it. It's the elite level fighters that we're talking about here. The Thurmans and the Porters and Amir Khans. I mean, once upon a time was. Dad's going to always have his sons back.
Yeah.
I mean, same with Porter. If he'd lost that on a points decision, his dad was going to have the same, same kind of perspective as well. It'd be a shame. He's great for boxing, but I think the right man won on the day. If you ask me, from the work rate and how the rounds went, it was always. I mean, that fight was always going to be a chess game, a chess match, but it was exciting to a chess match to watch. Yeah.
A lot of people don't really give Porter the recognition that he deserves. I thought he was very unlucky when he fought Kell Brook. Sean Porter, he's a gutsy type of fighter, and he is a world champion now. Now, let's move on from your Furmans, your Crawfords, and your Errol Spence Juniors, because we've got a world champion in that division now in Sean Porter. What do you think, as a fan, what would you like to see Sean Porter do next? What do you think is the right type of fight for him next?
I think Garcia is going to be, like I said earlier, Garcia will want that rematch. He'll want to kind of earn that right to fight him again and to earn his title back.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Errol Spence kind of waiting in the wings. He was in the ring that night.
Errol Spence called him out after the fight.
Yeah. You'd love to see that. What's happening with Thurman? If Thurman's been injured, he had to relinquish his title.
Terence Crawford as well.
Terence Crawford, he's itching, towards the 147 weight.
It's such an action-packed division, isn't it? I mean, you look at the talent. We've just mentioned, the champions. Then you mentioned the fighters behind the champions. Then you've got your Adrian Broners. You still got Manny Pacquiao. You got Khan. You've even got Kell Brook that can come down to 147. But judging on that division right now, Ron, if I had to say to you, Ron, who is the king of the 147 welterweight division, and you had to answer it, who would you say?
I mean, prior to his injury, I'm a big one-time Thurman fan.
Yeah, I know. You've mentioned many times.
I'm a big fan of Thurman. But obviously he's inactive at the moment. We can only base him on his last fight. He won against, was it Garcia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Errol Spence, I think.
Yeah.
Basing on the last few fights that he's fought, the names that he's got in his CV. Obviously Kell Brook, Lamont Peterson, So he's got claim to that, but there's other fighters there. Manny Pacquiao, wouldn't you love to see him in the ring with Errol Spence?
Of course,
Or would you love to see Terence Crawford. There's been Twitter kind of
Twitter beef
between
like
them
it,
two. Yeah, I mean, well, we'll see what happens with Terence Crawford. He's got a fight coming up, hasn't he, in the next few months?
We'll move on now. It's all about Saturday night, the highly anticipated rematch. Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. First of all, Ron, excited for it?
Absolutely. I think some wrongs need to be, made right now, and that's an opportunity for both boxers who felt they should have won that. It was a draw. I mean, it's a controversial one, isn't it?
Going into this fight, who do you think's more under pressure to win?
I think Canelo. With 2 failed drugs tests. He's got a lot more to prove. He's the golden boy, with with that brand as well, with De La Hoya. De La Hoya's been talking him up.
De La Hoya's predicted a knockout from Canelo, hasn't he?
Oh God, that's big words.
I want to get your thoughts on something. I was very fortunate enough to interview Johnny Nelson of Sky Sports. We've done an interview, and we spoke about the Canelo Golovkin topic, and he said specifically, he goes that Canelo gave his best to Golovkin. He hit him with his best. He fought with his best, and in the end, he only got a draw out of it. So that's Johnny Nelson's way of saying, if Canelo's fought with his best and he still can't beat him, then what does Canelo have to do to beat Golovkin this time round?
Well, I mean, age is going against Triple G.
Yeah.
He's 36, 37 now. He's getting on in the later stages of his career, and Canelo's still a young spring chicken. I think 27, 28. I think he is. I mean, he might even have a better opportunity this time round. Obviously, they've fought before. They've seen, they know what each other's strengths and weaknesses are. They probably watched those videos of that last fight where they went wrong. Both trainers have probably addressed those issues. What does he need to do? I think he needs to outwork him. He's not knocking him out. He's never been dropped.
You don't think Canelo can knock out Golovkin?
No. I think that's...
he hit him with his best in the last fight. It still wasn't good enough to get rid of him.
The guy's built like a brick,
It's kind of like hitting a moving train coming towards you, isn't it?
Like even against Kell Brook.
Look
at the punches, the uppercuts that he threw in that fight. I've watching that fight again.
Great fight.
Yeah, absolutely. He just doesn't seem to be kind of... just shrugs it off. Sometimes he's kind of egging them on to hit them even more. I've seen Triple G kind of calling the fighters in, but I can't see a knockout. But he's got to show the judges that he's going to make it a lot more convincing than he was last time.
What does Golovkin have to do to get the decision or get the win this time? What type of game plan do you think Golovkin goes into the ring with, taking on Canelo for the second time?
I think he's going to play to his strengths, use his footwork, close off the ring. Now, I think one thing I'd like to see Triple G do is be a bit more evasive with the punches. A lot seems to land, on him. So I think that's something that he needs to work on. Work on the inside. When they're a lot more closer up. And impress the judges with that. A lot more attacking kind of punches as well.
Do you think, obviously, after the fight, you're going to have the likes of Billy Joe Saunders, Danny Jacobs, the Charlos? Do you think these type of fighters will be, they'll have an eye on this fight, thinking, well, do you know what, I'll fancy the winner of this fight? We know Danny Jacobs has got a fight in a couple of weeks' time. We also know Billy Joe Saunders takes on Demetrius Andrade. I mean, there's big things waiting for the winner in this middleweight division, isn't there?
Middleweight division's looking good. They're all eagerly watching this fight, anticipating what's going to happen. Because if Canelo wins, what happens with Triple G? Does he?
His O's gone.
His O's gone. Does he retire? Does he? Is he the force that he's not? We'll find out. We'll get a lot of answers after this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, Billy Joe Saunders. He's got his fight in October against Andrade.
It's a tough fight. Very tough fight.
I mean, he's highly rated. A lot of people.
It's the reason why Eddie signed him.
Yeah. So. What do you make of it? What do you make of the middleweight division? So
I think it's a great division. I think it's probably the best way it's been for a long time. Listen, anyone who follows our channel, follows us on Twitter, follows me, my personal account. I'm a massive Billy Joe Saunders fan. I do think Billy Joe Saunders is the man of division. But of course, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. And one thing about the Canelo Golovkin fight is I really hope that the winner does get in with the likes of Danny Jacobs. Maybe even the Charlo brothers, maybe even the winner of Andrade versus Billy Joe Saunders. But I do think it's a very exciting division. There's some great fighters in there. And I really do think that, a lot of people say that the second fight, a rematch, is never as good as the first one. Well, you've only got to look at Ward and Gatti. They only got better and better. The Barrera.
They were so good they went to a third.
Exactly, Morales and Barrera had good with them fights.
No.
I do think this fight's got the making to be one of the fights of the year. And I really do predict an exciting fight. And predictions, I'm going to go with Golovkin on points.
Golovkin points. I think I'd have to agree. I mean, I'd love to be controversial and go against you
because it's so.
Well, look,
I think stubbornness is going to get the best of this fight. I don't think one of them will go down. No matter what they get hit with, they won't go down. And we've seen it in the last fight. They both took some fascinating punches, some very strong punches, yet they stayed up. So I think really it's going to be like maybe a bit of a chess match. Whoever boxes better will win the fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting. With how it's going to, what the game plans both their coaches have got in mind for their fighters, respective fighters. I mean, the winner, has got claim to fame for pound.
Yeah,
I would say, in the whole boxing division.
Well, there's only one place to watch that fight live on Saturday night, early Sunday morning, of course, is on BT Sport and Box Nation. It's going to be a great fight, no doubt about it. The highly anticipated rematch. And, of course, more questions in the 147 division. Who's next for Amir Khan? Will he take on Manny Pacquiao or will he look to settle a long-time feud with Kell Brook? What's next for the new WBC welterweight champion, Sean Porter? So many questions, but we want to get your thoughts in the comment section. I want to thank you guys for watching our podcast. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and do not forget to comment. Thank you for watching. Lights out.